Armando, so we're here in Zurich. Of course, a little bit of a different, situation. You got the 100 tomorrow. I mean, what's the mindset right now as you approach the, going up against Karsten?
I mean, the mindset's like it always is, just go in there and win. I mean, I think for me, like the way that I'm visualizing everything is that I'm visualizing myself getting that line first, and I think that's the mindset that you have to go into it. And I think now it's starting to really settle in that it's a real thing. I think just being here at the stadium and like seeing the whole setup and everything looks so amazing, and I know that it's going to be bumping tomorrow. So for me, just I mean, enjoying the whole thing, but then enjoying the competition of it, enjoying just racing somebody and doing something completely different, and having the opportunity to do something like this, which is really special because I pole vault normally. I don't get to run. It's not that doesn't really work like that. So I'm really just grateful that we could put on such a cool event like this.
Yeah, and like you said, it started off as kind of like a joke thing. Now it's becoming real. When did like nerves start to set in? Like, hold on, like I gotta run 100 meters.
Like 10 minutes ago, pretty much. I really haven't been stressing about it, honestly. I've been like, like thinking about it, and like in the sense of like I've been getting in blocks a lot more than I usually do these past few weeks, to making sure that I'm prepared as best as I can. I can't run all day every day because my body can't handle that really, especially after the Olympics. But no, I mean yeah. Yeah,
No,
pretty much. Yeah.
So, I mean, speaking on blocks, you said Frank Kerley was helping you out a little bit. I mean, how did that kind of come about where it's like you're getting together with Fred to really focus in on those blocks?
I just basically just saw Fred in the lobby of the hotel in Lausanne, and I was just like, "When are you doing blocks?" He's like, "I'm doing it at 2:00," and I said, "Bet." So I pulled up on him at 2:00, and then we did blocks together. It was basically just as simple as that, but that was really, really necessary because I've been doing blocks just by myself, and you really cannot replicate the feeling of having somebody on side of you. And there was a lot of speed on side of me then, so that was something that I needed, and it felt nice to like have that.
I mean, so what was he telling you? You were doing blocks side by side, or was he kind of like coaching you through, like your start?
No, we were doing some real blocks, and then we watched a video together, and he was giving me some pointers and stuff, and like gave me a few like mental pointers and drills, I guess, and whatnot, as far as like reaction time in those first few steps, and then maybe even block positioning also, because I was kind of winging it a little bit. I have a little bit of a feeling of it, and I watch what other people do. I'm kind of just imitating people, but it was nice to get a little bit of advice of like positioning and stuff in the blocks.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so obviously at high school, a couple times you ran, even the 1 year you were at LSU, you ran a couple. I think there were a lot of windy times in the 100, but I mean, do you look back at those races and kind of pick apart, take some pointers on, going into tomorrow?
Nah, not really. I mean, 18-year-old me has nothing to do with 24-year-old me about to turn 25. I mean, I'm a completely different grown person. My body's so much more matured. It's so much more physically developed. And I know that. And I do a lot more proper sprint training than I did when I was 18 years old. I can handle a lot more. So, I know that I don't even really need to look at what I'm doing then. I was actually, I was quick at that time, and I had good top end speed, but I couldn't come out the blocks and have that, the first acceleration drive phase the way that I have now. So it's going to be a completely different race than it is from then. But I know I'm faster. I know I'm a lot faster in every aspect of the race. So that's good.
There you go. And so has pole vault training been interrupted in any way with you focusing on blocks and stuff like that? Because obviously you're still breaking world records, you're doing all that, but like, have you interrupted in your training?
I think it's only helped. I mean, of course, I jumped like 6:15, and I jumped the world record the next week ever since the Olympics. So I've been jumping really, really, really well, which I guess, I mean, I would say a surprise, but I guess when I think about it now, I'm not that surprised about, because it's kept me really motivated and it's kept me sharp. And I think that after the Olympics, of course, I had a little bit of a downtime for a week or so, because naturally you have to let your body rest. But other than that, I feel like it kept me having some motivation this last part of the year, which is really nice. And then also, I mean, speed is everything. Speed kills, no matter what you do. Speed is the most important thing for any event, pretty much any sport, really. So the faster you are, the better you can jump, and the higher you can jump. And so I think that that's where I really make sure to make my money, and that's my bread and butter is the approach. And I make sure that I have the most speed going into the takeoff as a pole vaulter.
And so obviously the goal is to win. You want to get that win over Karsten. But last week in Rome, I asked Latsili at the bowl, and he said that he's like looking at you. Maybe you could drop a 10-2 in the 100 tomorrow. I mean, what do you think time wise you could produce?
I have no idea. I mean, I appreciate Tuago having that confidence in me. It means a lot. That's my dude. But for me, I don't care about the time. I mean, if I run 10:30 and I lose, that's worse than running 10:60 and winning. So for me, it's really just getting to the line first. Yeah. And if I win, then that's everything. That's the most important thing. I really don't care about the time. Of course, I mean, if I am gonna lose, I hope it's a good time, and I hope I can run something like in 10:30s. But you know, I don't know. I'm not really worried about it. And I think that's what's so fun too, is that we have no idea what's about to happen. We have no idea what times are about to happen. It can be, there's such a big range of, there's a big question mark, and it's definitely unknown. And I think that's what's going to make it so fun and interesting for everybody watching, because it's very unpredictable as far as, you know, results. So I think that's what's going to make it really fun.
There you go. So last question about the pole vault specifically. So I think last week World Athletics, they did a little event out here in Europe somewhere, and they kind of like tested out the idea of like the pole vault. You jump as like high as you can or whatever it is, and you just like, they measure the height. Obviously you're jumping world records, and you're at times, you know, you're significantly over the actual bar, you know, maybe like 630s, who knows. Is that something you would like to see in the pole vault, where it's like they measure from whatever height, you know, you're actually going above, as opposed to just like the bar limit?
Not really, honestly. I think I think it takes away from the event a little bit. I mean, I think that the event is there's a certain target, and I think it's also, I mean, half of the event is making sure you have the right jump at the right time, and that's part of the tactical, and that's part of the strategy, and that's part of the development of the day in the competition, is to make sure you have your best jumps when need be, rather than you just go out there and do it like it's a long jump. Because you kind of already have that, and that's the long jump. And I think that the system for the pole vault works a lot better, and it's more entertaining when you have a clear set goal, and it's instant gratification for all the audience when you clear the bar and everybody can go crazy. I think that's what makes it so good, and I think that that's, you know, one thing that actually hurts the long jump is that you kind of have to wait for the result rather than knowing exactly what you just watched, especially with the fouls and with the measurements. And so I think that that's a step in the wrong direction, but it's always nice to try things, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, whatever, at least you tried something. So I don't blame you know, LeBron and them for trying it. I think it's nice to do that, but I don't think it's better. No, that doesn't make sense to me.
There you go. All right, appreciate it, Mondo, and good luck tomorrow. We'll see you on the track.
Appreciate it, man. Heck yeah.